Welcome back. Restaurants in Canada benefit enormously from travelers, both domestic and international, but can they also adapt to changing preferences and a more cost-conscious patron? Kelly Higginson is president of Restaurants Canada. Thanks for being with us, Kelly.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with the importance of that tourism sector to restaurants. What does it represent to most restaurants?
Well, it's going to be different across the country. So we've got heavy tourism markets that I think we can all think about, the usual Banff and Whistlers and Atlantic Canada certainly sees a big boom. So, but food and beverage is 32% of tourism jobs, and from the international visitors, we represent almost half of the spend. So that gives you a little bit perspective from a national idea there.
Which suggests to me that that restaurants are a big part of the draw. How do we make sure that we're showcasing properly the quality of food, the variety of food? Because, of course, seems to be one reason why people want to come.
Absolutely. It is a big part of what we do. And I think we're going to see a big opportunity here with this current tariff and trade war situation. It represents an $8.8 billion potential gain for the industry, but we are cautiously optimistic. We have seen, tourists in Canada are changing their plans and looking at staying in Canada to experience more of maybe their local environment because of Canadians struggling with affordability, because of the challenges down south. Will that translate into more restaurant spending? It's still a bit of a question mark at the end of the day. Canadians typically spend more per trip when traveling internationally than when they travel domestically. But tourism and restaurants are definitely gearing up for a very hopeful summer ahead. Another area that we are going to be challenged with is some of the changes with immigration levels in these rural and tourism markets. That will impact the level of service that we're able to give. So that's another challenge that we're hoping to be able to overcome, but it's going to impact the level of service, the amount of hours that we're able to be open. So it is going to still be one of those question marks as we head into the summer.
That's a big piece of this industry. The jobs in the sector are so important. Obviously, having enough people, we've saw shortages of that as we came through and out of pandemic. Where does it stand now? And how important is it to make sure those jobs are quality jobs? On the one hand, you want restaurants to be able to afford to make money. So you worry about paying too much. But on the other hand, you need the service sector to be high quality employers.
Absolutely. Thanks. That's a great question. So we're still just over 70,000 job openings across the country right now in our industry. And where we are seeing those is primarily in the more rural or less urban, anyways, in less larger urban centers, and definitely in the tourism areas. And I'm talking about some areas in northern BC where the average population in the off season is 3,000 to 5,000 people. And when tourism season starts, it booms up to over 40,000. So how do you ramp up for that? Well, you're going to need to bring in some help for that. And whether that's domestic talent, whether that's international talent, but you're going to have to bring people in for that. And some of the changes that we've seen currently with immigration policy is going to dramatically impact those areas. And again, the level of the tourism experience is going to be impacted. We definitely are looking at more of those skilled trades is where we are feeling the pinch. So those skilled cooks that we would bring in typically internationally, some of those skilled sommeliers and those pieces are where we're really feeling the pinch, and we really need to see some investment from the government and some commitment from the immigration policies. Thank
you so much for being with us, Kelly. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
Kelly Higginson, president of Restaurants Canada. Time for the takeaway, and more than just a pretty place. Tourism can often feel like a nice add-on to an economy, icing on the cake if the cake is the real industrial work. But as many a tourist-centered town knows, tourism is about bringing your customers to you and delivering goods and services to them on location. In other words, it's just as serious a business as any other, even if the pictures are prettier. Getting serious about the sector requires a multifaceted approach. There's the marketing at home and, importantly, in international markets where knowledge of Canada may be limited to a few stereotypes about snow and lakes. The breadth and complexity of this country is captivating for Canadians and international visitors, and showcasing that depth is always a good idea. Once we have the travelers in the country, the sector can be seen as one that's interwoven with many others. Our transportation systems will be under a lens, so making sure they function well and safely is critical. How clean and safe our cities are is another aspect of how we're perceived, and if that means it takes a visitor to force us to clean up our own house, so be it. The service in our hospitality sectors is the front line of this industry, so protecting the quality of work and the wages of those workers has to be considered a core element of a healthy tourism sector. And finally, maintaining a warm and welcoming culture to visitors is central to keeping them coming. All of these things will make Canada a better, more attractive place, not just for the occasional traveler, but for its citizens too. That makes the tourism sector one we can all get behind. My takeaway? People should want to come to this big, beautiful country of ours, but let's make the effort to keep Canada as attractive as possible once they've arrived. That's Taking Stock for this week. I'm Amanda Lang. Thanks for being with us.